Hello and welcome to Blush, the world's first wellness show that's actually entertaining. I'm Hiva and I quit law so I can help you look and feel your best. Together, we get into food, nutrition, all the latest wellness trends, but we also laugh, get silly, drop a few F-bombs, and go on a million tangents. So if that sounds like your vibe, we're about to be best friends. Hello and welcome back to Blush. Oh shit, I forgot I'm not supposed to be saying that anymore. You know what? There was a little 2-week hiatus and I just forgot who the fuck I am during those 2 weeks. I'm so sorry, by the way, for that. A series of things happened at once. Basically, she wasn't well. And then I got like a mini little sinus infection situation, which honestly mine, I really think was just because I had so much lymph congestion because I was in a rough place mentally between her and also I think I've mentioned a close family friend of mine got diagnosed with endometrial cancer. So Ozzy and I went down for her surgery and then I don't know how much I should talk about this. That's why I'm kind of being weird now. She's okay, but it's worse than we thought, and it's been really hard mentally, emotionally, physically for me. And so I went through like a little emotional binge eating journey. And then I got like real bad lymph congestion, and then it translated into sinus congestion. And yeah, I've kind of been through the ringer for a few weeks now. Also, holy shit, you know how last episode I talked about how I took that supplement and it fucked my hormones? I just got my period today. Like, this is one of the longest cycles I've had. It was fucked. Like, I did not have an easy time, but I've never been more grateful for a fucking bleed in my life. Anyway, we're going to get right into it because literally I'm supposed to meet a friend in like an hour and I think I'm going to be late. Sorry, some people work. I love my subtle shade, like, because I'm the hardest working person out there. I will say, I just decided I think I need to start giving myself a scheduled day off because I've not had a scheduled day off in 6 years. Now, I've taken unscheduled days off because I've gotten sick because probably I'm wearing myself into the ground. So actually think if I take one scheduled day off a week from work, I think it would change everything for me. Okay, let's get right into it. So it is the second Tuesday of June, what the fuck is going on? We're getting close to the Miss Congeniality Day, so that's very excited. What is that, June 24th? Is that her perfect date? Because it's not too hot and not too cold. All you need is a light sweater. Oh, I die for her. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you might be too young for this show. I have my little cacao drink sitting next to me if you're watching on video. Now, if you're not familiar, this is going to be the drink of the summer. It's like an iced cacao drink. I didn't add ice, but it is cold. The other day when I had it, I'm not even kidding, within 10 minutes I had to poo twice, which like, hello, thank you. So I'm actually kind of trepidatious to drink it, but you know, it's so good. Okay. I feel like I could sit here all day. Like actually I'm going to be late to drinks. Okay. So we're looking at wellness, food, nutrition, whatever. Oh no, is she okay? You okay, Mama? Oh, she was just readjusting. Yes, I have my cute little co-host here with me because her daddy is out of town. Actually, funny story. Her daddy was at Grandma and Grandpa's last night because he's actually working like 30 minutes away from my parents' house right now. And so last night he finished work at 7:30 and he's like, wait, I can rent a car and go drive to your parents' house. So he just impromptu went over there and I've never had more FOMO in my life. I was like, cool. Literally all of my best friends are hanging out without me. And I was just like on my little night walk. I was like, well, I usually call my parents at this time. What am I meant to do? Anyway, of course, like the one time I tried to, not like I'm trying to make the episode quick. I'm just trying to dilly-dally less. And all I fucking want to do is dilly, and all I want to fucking do is dally. Where did that phrase come from? Oh no, she's not okay. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. Our little co-host had a little accident. She got so excited hearing me talk about pooing twice after having this drink. She was like, oh, let me demo. I can do the same. No, she actually had like real bad diarrhea. I wonder she just got on a new antibiotic because she, has another UTI, not to brag. She is kind of the UTI queen of the world. And I wonder if that's upsetting her stomach. Either way, she's cleaned up and doing well. And we cleaned up a little, gonna leave the rest of the cleanup for later because we're professionals and the show must go on. Wait, what show was it where someone thought that the expression, I think it was Friends, Joey and Friends thought the expression was the show must go wrong and not the show must go on. And he's like, yeah, it's an expression in showbiz, like everything has to go wrong. Okay, oh my God, enough dilly-dallying, let's fucking get into it. Okay, so the first trend that I want to discuss on this month's Hot or Not is hypochlorous acid. Now, I have been seeing this shit all over TikTok, and here's what's crazy. The first time that I saw it, I was scrolling, and this chick was like, yeah, like one thing that I use in my household cleaning that I just like can't live without is hypochlorous acid. Like it's pet safe, it's eczema safe, it's this safe, it's non-toxic, but it kills bacteria, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like maybe I should get some. And then I keep scrolling for a bit and I see a few more people talk about using hypochlorous acid and the various things that they clean with it. So I was like, okay, like I should go add that to my cart. And then I'm scrolling and I'm seeing all these people talk about putting hypochlorous acid on their faces. And I was like, what? I thought we were like out here cleaning toilets and like kitchen cabinets and stuff with hypochlorous acid. Now we're putting it on our fucking faces. Apparently it's used also in skincare. So whatever, I see a bunch of those. And then I fucking see this chick talking about this like hypochlorous vulva spray that she puts on her fucking flaps, okay? And I was like, to be clear, I don't think she was like putting it inside of her vagina. Just, the outer parts, the labia. And I think like labia majora, to be clear, not labia minora. Nevertheless, I was like, okay, what the fuck is this shit? Like, we're out here wiping everything from our toilets to our pits to our faces to our pussies with this. Like, that was so vulgar. I'm so sorry. I really don't like the P word. Anyway, what the fuck is this? Like, so comfortable with the F word, so comfortable with the C word. The P word, it's just crossing the line for me. That one I will apologize for. So I'm like, okay, like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is going on? So I did some research. Here's what it is. Hypochlorous acid is a naturally occurring molecule that your own white blood cells produce as part of your immune response. It's your body's way of killing bacteria, viruses, and fungi on contact. Isn't that interesting? In wellness and skincare, in wellness and skincare, HOCI, which is the chemical name for hypochlorous acid, is made by electrolyzing salt water, and it's bottled as a non-toxic antimicrobial spray. It's gentle enough to use on your face, even for people with eczema and sensitive skin, but strong enough to disinfect surfaces, wounds, and even eliminate odors. And so a lot of the claims that I've seen around its use is that it helps calm redness, it helps calm irritation. This is on your face. It helps like remove body odor or like neutralize odors, and it helps neutralize odors in your home and disinfect things. A lot of the claims that I've seen around it, honestly, are that it'll make your home not smell good in like a perfume kind of sense of smelling good, but more so it'll take odors away. And same thing with your body, and also calm irritation and redness and stuff like that. And I will say, I don't like get super irritated or red. Like I just have very kind of tough skin, not like in the emotional sense. In that sense, I'm like as fragile as they fucking come. Like I'm just constantly in the corner crying. But in a sense of like my skin can handle a lot of actives and a lot of acids and things like that without getting irritated. I don't have terribly sensitive skin. I have pretty like oily acne prone skin. But the few times that I've had it, I have sprayed it on, and it does sometimes, it gets in my mouth a little, because you guys know I was getting like these like rashes around my lips, which I think was just from bringing vitamin C too close to my lips. I found a workaround. Now I just put chapstick, like I outline my lips with chapstick before I do my vitamin C, and that seems to have solved the issue. Thank fucking God. Anyway, so I've tried like spraying it around my lips, and I have accidentally tasted it a little. Now, as far as I know, no one is ingesting this shit. Okay. That's the one thing I've not seen people do thus far, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next trend that I see. Anyway, so I did some research as to whether these trends are valid or not, and this is very interesting. So it's recognized for its antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. Studies have demonstrated its efficacy in wound care and its safety in skin application. For example, a study found that 300 or 500 I just completely blanked on what mgs were. Milligrams per liter concentration of HOCI were effective antiseptic for wounds and mucous membranes after a 5 to 10 minute application. It's also naturally produced by white blood cells, and when formulated correctly, it's non-toxic and safe for topical use. Now, as far as whether it can neutralize odors, there haven't been actual studies on this, but it does seem scientifically valid because most body and household odors come from bacterial breakdown of sweat, skin oils, food particles, pet dander, and other organic materials. HOCI is a potent broad-spectrum antimicrobial that kills bacteria, fungi, and other viruses, and viruses, not other viruses, by disrupting their cell membranes and proteins. So by reducing or eliminating the bacteria responsible for those odors, it also eliminates the byproducts that smell, for example, isovaleric acid, which causes foot odor, or propionic acid from sweat. A 2017 clinical study published in Clinical, Cosmetic, and Investigational Dermatology. I'm so sorry. I completely respect what this journal is doing, but what is investigational dermatology? I'm sorry. It like reminds me of like investigative journalism. Like what are you investigating? Let's relax, okay? It's a fucking face cream. Anyway, used a hypochlorous acid based spray on patients with chronic eczema and noticed significant reductions in bacterial overgrowth, especially Staphylococcus aureus. I don't know how to pronounce this. Since body odor is largely due to bacterial activity, this supports its deodorizing potential, even if odor wasn't the primary endpoint of the study. So the verdict seems like this trend is fucking hot and you should get on it. Now, I have 2 hypochlorous acid products right now. I have just like a household one that I got on Amazon. I've been using it to clean the sauna blanket primarily. I haven't done a ton more with it. I honestly think it might be a good thing to kind of like refresh like fabric surfaces, rugs, things like that. I mean, her beds I wash so frequently because she has so many fucking accidents, but you know, anyway. And then I have the spray by Tower 28. That's the highest rated one I've seen. There are a couple of other brands that make ones that people really like. One is Prequel, and the other, I actually can't remember what the brand is called. It starts with a B, and I have one product of theirs that I do really like. Anyway, I'll link the products that I have. Give it a try, especially if you're kind of eczema prone and stuff. Try it on your skin. But I think that for everyone, this kind of might be a game-changing household cleaning tool / hack. So give it a try. Okay, this next one I've actually been wanting to do for a couple of Hot or Not episodes now. And there were just other trends that got in the way of me getting to do this one, but it's like a pretty sick one. Hold on, a little sip of the drinky drink. We love her. Okay, It's Yerba Mate tea. Now, I first heard of Yerba Mate tea circa 2015. I was in law school. I had a crush on this guy. Let's call him, I was going to say Sam, but that's my dog's name, so we will not call him that. Let's call him Steve. Now, Steve also was in my law school, and 1L year, he had a very serious girlfriend, but I kind of heard through the grapevine that he liked me. And spring of 1L year, we kind of were flirty, but he still had this girlfriend. And then that summer, they broke up, and then him and I were more flirty, but I kind of liked this other guy. And then that guy was like always dicking me around, and I was just so terrible with these things also. So then I kind of started hanging out with Steve some, and we just kind of like get together and make out for the most part. That was it. Anyway, we did watch this show together, not like the whole series, but we watched a few episodes together, and I truly cannot remember what the show was called or really a lot of details about it at all. I think there was a girl who played like the violin or something. I think she was the main character, and I think she was on some kind of like orchestra or band situation, and then they brought in a new conductor for the orchestra or band situation who's this kind of like famous artsy wacky kind of guy from some South American country, and he wore those scarves. Wow, I'm like about to sound so ignorant. I don't know what they're called, but like I think they're like Palestinian, like either black and white or red and white. They're very chic. Like it's really vibey. He would wear those a lot, and he would drink yerba mate tea all the time. And so that's kind of when I first heard about it. And I got in this like whole yerba mate like rabbit hole for a while. And I got like really into it, and I started ordering it. And you're supposed to have all these like specific, like there's like a straw that people traditionally use that has a filter at the end. So you just like pour the loose leaf tea into a cup, but then you drink it out of that straw, and that way it strains it, blah, blah. Whatever. Hadn't really thought of yerba mate tea in like literally fucking years. And then recently I've been seeing it all over my TikTok. So I was like, fuck it. Like maybe I should start drinking yerba mate tea again. But what's interesting is specifically what I've been hearing about it is that it's good for weight loss, and that like people tout it as being nature's GLP-1 or whatever, like nature's Ozempic, which is a claim that I sometimes use. It is a bit of like a clickbaity claim, because obviously nothing is nature's pharmaceutical. When people are like, oh, this face cream is like Botox, I'm like, really? Does it inject itself into the muscle and paralyze it? Because otherwise I don't think it is, Then like, again, I'll use the like nature's Ozempic claim sometimes because it's clickbaity. It gets people to stop scrolling. But obviously no like natural food or tea or herb or anything like that is going to mimic what a very intense pharmaceutical does, because like that's why pharmaceuticals exist, Nevertheless, it could potentially have similar properties. But first, I want to back up and explain exactly what yerba mate tea is. So it's a traditional South American tea made from dried leaves of the Ilex paraguayensis plant. That is how it's officially pronounced. No, I have not one fucking clue. It has a slightly bitter, earthy flavor. It's most popular in Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, and southern Brazil, where people sip it from a gourd with a metal straw. Now, the metal straw, again, has that filter in it. It naturally contains caffeine, theobromine, which is the same mood booster that's found in chocolate, and polyphenols. And so it has like a bit of a stimulant kick and antioxidant benefits. Now, to put it in perspective, it has significantly less caffeine than coffee, but more than regular teas, and about the same as matcha. So if you just kind of want to know where it fits. Now, this one was surprising to me. I didn't think it would come out the way that it did, but there have been animal studies that show that yerba mate tea can increase GLP-1 secretion, which is the hormone that's involved in appetite regulation. It's also the hormone that weight loss drugs like Ozempic increase in your body. And I was really curious as to like, okay, how though? Because I know certain things can help increase GLP-1, and everything that I've done research on that increases GLP-1 usually involves soluble fiber or resistant starch that your gut bacteria then ferment and produce short chain fatty acids, which then go and increase the GLP-1. So I was like, okay, this like, there's no way it contains fiber because like it's a tea, like hello, it's a watery beverage. So it can't be that. So like, what is it? Like, how is it doing this? And this is, and no one actually really knows, but this is the best I could come up with based on my research. So Yerba Mate tea is rich in chlorogenic acid. And in some in vitro and animal studies, we found that, or they suggest that chlorogenic acid stimulates GLP-1 secretion from the L cells in the intestines. So I thought that was really interesting. Maybe no one else does. I don't know, but I did. So that's kind of cool. Research indicates that yerba mate may contribute to weight loss and improved lipid profile in both animal models and limited human studies. But the big caveat is that we need more studies. Like there are no large scale clinical human trials on this, but from what does exist, it does seem to mimic certain weight loss benefits of certain weight loss drugs. Obviously not nearly to the level of using a pharmaceutical, but it could be something interesting to incorporate into your routine a little bit here and there. But another reason I actually wanted to talk about this is because I've been watching a lot of basketball. You know, it is the NBA playoffs, and she's not like other girls. I'm just kidding. Like literally all I aspire to be is more like other girls. Literally every day I wake up and I'm like, how can I be more feminine and more like other girls? Like I fucking hate that pick me girl bullshit that I used to be so hard. But I do have a boyfriend who I love very much, who loves basketball, and he's so wonderful to me. And quite frankly, I'm such a cunt by nature. And so if me sitting and watching basketball with him a little bit is going to be the thing that makes him feel seen and appreciated in this relationship, then it's literally the least I can do. Anyway, so the NBA finals are about to start today, actually, as I'm recording this. But so by the time this comes out, the finals will have started, but we've been through 3 rounds of playoffs already. And there's this team called the Pacers. They're from Indiana. And I actually think they were like the last seed. I don't know if I'm saying that right, to get it. So basically they barely got into the playoffs is what I'm saying. I could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. Like I think they were the lowest ranked team on the East to make it into the playoffs. And so in the playoffs, the same 2 teams will play each other every round for up to 7 games. And unless like, you know, if they would like one team wins 4, then they don't keep playing because it's best of 7. Now, the Pacers beat Milwaukee, which has historically been an exceptionally strong team, in 5 games. And then they went on to play the Cavs, which were the highest ranked team on the East, and beat them in 5 games. And then they went on to play the Knicks. And that was a really hard watch, but they did beat them in 6 games this time, not in 5. We did push back quite nicely. And, you know, the boys should be really proud of themselves. But I remember before the Knicks advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, I said to Ozzy, I was like, who are you rooting for in the Cavs and Pacers? He's like, well, I'm rooting for the Pacers because I think we'll have an easier time beating them. And I was like, nah. I think you're wrong on that. And he's like, well, the Cavs are ranked like the first on the East right now. And the Pacers were like the last team on the East. And I was like, I don't give a shit who ranks who what. This team that I'm watching feels impossible to beat. And here's why. It's not that the Pacers have like specific elite skills. They really don't. I mean, they shoot pretty well and stuff. They don't have massive guys. In fact, they only really have one really big guy. All the other guys are kind of smaller, but here's what they have. an insane amount of energy. Now, their whole thing is that they play a very fast-paced game, and it's exceptionally hard for anyone else to keep up. Like, you would just watch the Knicks play against them, who I actually think are a better team. Like, I think we shoot better. We have like better big guys who can rebound better. I think we're better defensively. I think we have like a few star players that are just better offensively on the whole. But the Pacers have energy on their side, and that is why they have beat every fucking team the way that they have, because they, you know that expression of like leaving no stone unturned? They're at a fucking Pebble Beach and they turned every fucking stone every chance they got. Like every chance they would turn a ball over. They would like steal a ball is what I mean. They would make fast breaks. They were taking constant shots. It's like you just can't fucking breathe. And it's not like everyone else isn't capable of doing that. I mean, I'm not, but like the people in the league are capable of doing that. It's just that they get tired. Like, you just want to fucking rest for a second. It's like, I can't even breathe because you're fucking everywhere all the time. They're like pests. They're like gnats. Like, you know, like when you got a gnat infestation in your house and you're like, how are there so many of you going all the time without fucking stopping? Like, can you just relax for a minute? And they're so on all the time. And I truly think it's like they have so much energy. Like, I'm trying to figure out how they have so much energy. I'm exhausted just thinking about how much energy they have. But watching them, it was this big aha moment for me where I was like, I was looking to see if I wrote down any statistics on how they play, but I didn't. But it was this big aha moment where I was like, what if the people who get ahead in life aren't people who have like traditional forms of privilege that we think of, like financial privilege, race privilege, background privilege, pretty privilege, all those things, although those are all massive factors, don't get me wrong. Maybe it's not people who have all these connections. Maybe it's not like people who are just like hot or attractive or more confident or any of these things or smarter. What if it's just the people who have more energy because they're just trying more? Like, at the end of the day, if you're taking 100 shots and like getting about half in, you're always gonna beat the team who's taking 50 shots but getting like 75% in, just because you're doing more. And we can say like, oh, do more, try more, like, especially with content creation, there's always this advice of like, just create more, just keep going. But the thing is, the average person burns out. The average person gets fucking tired. I mean, look at me. Like the past 3 weeks, I've been in this like energy slump where I've had none. But then I see the times in my life where everything's going the best, where I'm the most social, where I look my best, my body's the most snatched, my mood is the best, I'm doing the best at work. It all comes down to how much fucking energy I have. And then I was thinking about, like, I've been so vocal about my depression, right? And I've been so vocal about how ever since the creatine got locked in my system, my depression's gone away. And that's when I realized so much of my depression was because I literally just had no energy. Like, I was just burnt the fuck out. And that creatine just helped me have more energy so I could just keep going better. So what if the key to life is energy? Anyway, just some food for thought. And, caffeine gives you a bit of energy, obviously. Like, you also kind of crash and stuff. So the ideal thing is more sustained energy. But I do think there might be something to this yerba mate, guys. Like, I'll link it. I'll link the one that I got if you want to try it. I also have this really cute like teacup situation that I got. It's like a 3-piece. So it's like a glass. Oh, actually, this is part of it. So this is like just the regular glass cup, right? And then it has a filter, like a glass filter that goes inside it. So you can pour your loose leaf tea and stuff, and then you pour the hot water. And then there's a glass lid. And then when you take it out, you can put the glass lid down as like a saucer and take the filter out and put it on top of the glass lid. And then you just have your gorgeous little bevy bev. So I'll link that too. So yeah, the verdict on yerba mate is it's warm. You know, we can't really scientifically prove it, but it seems like it tracks. So that's pretty fucking cool. And that brings us to our last trend for this week, and that is the ribbon carrot salad. Now, this type of like raw carrot salad got big like years ago, but all of a sudden this recipe's been going viral again, and it's a little bit different this time. This time it's carrot ribbons, so they make it by using a veggie peeler, scallions, garlic, sesame seeds, sesame oil, soy sauce, rice vinegar, and chili crisp. So that's like the original girl who made it, and it went viral this time around more recently. Her name is Cassie, I think. And then people have been copying it left, right, and center. Now, I just want to say, I don't believe Cassie made any claims when she shared this recipe. She was just like, I like it. I think carrots are good for balancing your hormones. That's it. But other people have been making it and like touting it as this like hormone balancing raw carrot salad. And that's how I'd heard about it years ago before the Cassie iteration of this. So the claims are that it balances hormones, it gets rid of acne, bloating, PMS symptoms, etc. So this idea actually stems from someone named Dr. Ray Peat's hypothesis that raw carrots contain fiber that binds to estrogen and endotoxins and helps remove them from the body. There's no peer-reviewed research confirming that raw carrots specifically balance hormones or reduce estrogen levels. But here's where it gets interesting. Even though there's no evidence for raw carrots specifically, there is evidence that soluble fiber helps, and here's why. So your liver detoxifies estrogen by converting it into water-soluble compounds, which are then secreted into bile and sent into your intestines. If you eat enough soluble fiber, you okay, mama? Okay, she's okay. Hopefully not pooing everywhere again. If you eat enough soluble fiber, that soluble fiber binds with the estrogen and you poop out the excess estrogen from your bile. Basically, you poop out the bile in general, and then the next time you eat something with fats in it, your body produces new fresh bile. But if you're not eating enough soluble fiber, your hormone-ridden bile gets deconjugated by gut bacteria and reabsorbed into the bloodstream. You okay? Oh God, this is so stressful. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done, mama, okay? So there is science that soluble fiber does this. Basically, when you eat enough soluble fiber, it'll bind with those excess hormones and you poop it out. But carrots are far from being the highest soluble fiber food, even in their raw form. They do have more soluble fiber when they're raw than when they're cooked. That's true. But even in their raw form, 1 cup of chopped carrots has less than 1 gram of soluble fiber. It's around 0.8 grams of soluble fiber. 1 cup of beans has 5+ grams of soluble fiber. You okay? Okay, give it a hug. Do you want to go down? Okay. Here you go, mama. Okay, I'll figure it out. So my recommendation on this would be like, eat the carrot salad if you want to eat carrot salad. That's fine. But if you're really looking for that hormone balancing effect, eat fucking beans. Eat beans. That's what's going to do it for you. Also, just a little side note, packaged chili crisp usually has sugar in it. So just something to keep in mind. I don't think it's like so much sugar that it's really going to fuck with your hormones, but it's just something to keep in mind. So the verdict on this is not so hot. Again, if you want to eat it as a food, amazing, lovely, like it sounds delicious. But I wouldn't eat it for those purposes. Okay, that brings us to the foods that make you blush segment, of this episode. God, my poor girl is just standing in the background looking at me. My sweets, I'll be right out, okay? Where I talk about 5 foods that help with whatever we talked about this episode. So I picked 5 foods that help sustainably increase your energy, not like in a way where you just like crash out and burn, because like everyone knows how to just have more caffeine, right? You don't need me for that. Foods that can help increase GLP-1 in your body, foods that can help balance hormones, and that foods that can make you smell good from the inside out. So I picked the 5 best ones that kind of hit all of these things, and I really encourage you to eat some of these foods this week. And if you do, please take a fucking photo and tag a bitch, okay? Would love that. Thank you. Okay, so the first one is lentils, especially red and French green lentils. So they're packed with iron, folate, and complex carbs for steady energy. They are high in fiber, especially soluble fiber, which triggers GLP-1 release, which we talked about a bit ago. It supports energy metabolism because of its high fiber and plant polyphenols. Has around 7 grams of soluble fiber per cup when cooked. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, it's like 10 times the amount that a cup of raw carrots has. And it can actually make you smell better because the fiber reduces odor-causing toxins in the gut and in the bloodstream, which makes sweat less pungent. So isn't that fun? Number 2 is citrus fruits, especially oranges and grapefruit. So the natural sugars plus vitamin C plus potassium equals quick energy without a crash. Naringenin is a flavonoid that's in citrus, actually enhances GLP-1 secretion in cell studies. It supports liver detox pathways that process estrogen, so it helps with hormones because of that. The pith, which is the white part in the peel, which, fun fact, as a little kid, when I'd peel an orange, I would always like take the peel and just like eat the pith out of it. I've always fucking loved the pith. Random. But the pith is actually really rich in pectin, which is a key GLP-1 activator. And also, if you're looking for other recipes that are high in pectin, look out on my TikTok because I'm about to share one. It might be out by the time this comes out. And the limonene in citrus is secreted through your sweat, so it can actually make you smell better too. Number 3 is cooked kale, or really any cruciferous greens. Like, it would work for arugula and stuff too, but it's just, I find that specificity helps people, so we'll just stick with cooked kale. So it has iron, magnesium, and B vitamins, which support your nervous system and energy metabolism. The sulfur compounds improve gut microbiota diversity, which means better short-chain fatty acids, which means more GLP-1. It contains, or cruciferous veggies in general, contain indole-3 carbinol, which supports estrogen detox. And it detoxifies sulfur-heavy compounds that contribute to body odor. So fun. Number 4, we have sweet potatoes. So the complex carbs plus beta carotene equals a sustained energy and blood sugar stability situation. The resistant starch and fiber helps stimulate GLP-1. Vitamin A supports progesterone production and ovary function, so it helps with the hormones in that way. And its antioxidants help neutralize oxidative stress, which leads to less sweat stink. And our last food that makes you blush for this week is berries, especially raspberries and blackberries. So they're low glycemic carbs and have antioxidants, which help reduce fatigue. They're high in anthocyanins, which have been shown to increase GLP-1 and improve insulin sensitivity. The polyphenols help regulate estrogen activity and reduce cortisol. And they have around 4 to 5 grams of soluble fiber per cup, especially in raspberries. So again, way fucking more than the raw carrots, just want to say. And high antioxidant foods improve skin health and reduce odor-causing inflammation. So there we have it. That's our 5 foods that make you blush for this week. If you eat any of them, please do tag me because I love to see it. And that brings us to the end of the show where I do a gratitude segment, which just helps you be a happier and more optimistic person. This is scientifically valid. I'm going to make it fucking snappy because I have a dog that needs a lot of care right now, and I'm also supposed to go meet a friend, and everything's just getting pushed back. Okay, I am grateful that Sam had a poo accident and not a pee accident because it's just harder to clean that way. I am grateful that Ozzy went to see my parents. I thought that was such a menschy thing of him to do. And I'm grateful for this. I was going to say the stunning weather we've been having, but that's kind of lame. So I'll do something else. Oh my God, I'm grateful that I invented this drink. It's everything of the sort. And if you want to know how to make it, the recipe's on my TikTok. And this week and every week, I'm so fucking grateful for you guys. I love you guys so much. Like, you actually have no idea. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up and go clean all the diarrhea up from the studio. Okay, love you guys. Bye. Oh, there's an outro that tells you what to do. So just listen to that. Mwah. Bye. Alrighty, let's deal with this shit. If you loved that episode as much as I hope you did, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and check out some past episodes while you wait for the new one to drop next week. And until next week, make sure to stay cunty out there.